2017, and I'm calling it a Claus in a bag. Yes, Claus, Nico, Claus in the sack. Okay, we're gonna get started. So, this is pure chaos. Just utter chaos is happening all over the place here. Duchess is getting sick and maybe dying because of magic. So this leaves me with a lot of questions. So let's see. I did wonder how she, again, I remember I mentioned this, how she was going to protect David, because her health didn't seem really like good enough to be a protector. I didn't think it was this bad though. Okay. So now David and Joe both have been starting to think in a positive way. We've had the turn of the tide here. They're both thinking differently about life. He's just like, you know what? I can overlook my bad past and my future is looking bright. It's looking good. And then you've got Duchess over here thinking, oh my goodness, I love Nico. I told you that was gonna happen, but it happened. So now she's like, I can think about him in a romantic way. Ooh. I hear church bells, if she lives, of course. Okay, so we're on to the next part of the chaos. And now, I love that there's a little bit of foreshadowing here. So foreshadowing is like, there's this little clue that was dropped, but we didn't necessarily recognize it as a clue. So if we go to page 243, let's see here, 243, there we go. Between currents, yes, they're diving around, feeling the weather pattern and adjusting, and she has this Santa memory. Let the sky do the work. And she liked that. I liked that too. Oh, that was pretty cool. Because sometimes we just gotta kind of go with the flow. And sometimes that's a bad thing. So, in this case, it looked like it was a good thing. And here's where I think this was the foreshadowing. So, page 254. So, let's pass over here, 254. Nearly the end. Nearly the end. Okay. Yes. So again, it's the two of them. This is why I think it's the foreshadowing. They are, again, out and about, trying to navigate the air. Oh, I like that GPS thing. But okay, so they're navigating the air, and Lar got smart, Larceny. He got smart for a second, and he got a hold of the reindeer, Skara, and so he was really super happy about it. And then there was this sudden increase in weight, dragged Skara earthward. He was a strong calf, but this was one too many humans for the reindeer his size to carry. Plus, Lar was accidentally directing him by turning his antlers like a steering wheel as he hung on. So, Juniper shouting, "Let go!" And then it hits. She gets there. Juniper, let's see here, where is it? Juniper patted the reindeer's neck. "Don't fight," she said. "Go with it." And then Scar glanced up and saw that they were heading straight for the open container and understood what Juniper had in mind. So instead of trying to pull up, he used Lar's weight to drag them down faster and accelerated towards the lorry, which of course is when they end up going bowling for people. So there was a little bit of foreshadowing there. I liked that little drop of hint. That was pretty cool. And a very adventurous way to attempt to escape. I say attempt because, you know, again, they have sort of escaped. Sort of. Next chapter, next task, like next thing. We're not 100% there yet. Okay, so now I am concerned about Juniper and a little bit of maybe ego that might be related to Santa, to her Santa side. So again, back to page 243. So let's flip back over there. Okay, 246, 244. We're getting there. Okay, 243. So this is where she is talking about, you know, getting the Lane girls back together, finding Mom, and all of that. And she says that Nico was free and the Lane girls were back together, and maybe Nico could help with that. So, you know, she's got this whole idea, this whole thought process. And if not, I can do it myself, she thought. I'm starting to get the hang of this magic stuff now, so surely I can find Mom this time. So I'm not feeling good about that, because first, that sounds like it's coming from ego. Not a good place for things to come from. And second, isn't this kind of how the problem started in the first place? Like, she didn't wait for anybody to help her. And I'm not saying, like, necessarily she needs to wait. Independence. You know, doing things independently by yourself. That is good. Absolutely. But sometimes when they're really big things, it's important to ask for help, to get support. And I feel like this is a big thing. Obviously, she's trying to locate a missing adult, her own parent, with magic she doesn't fully understand yet. Because it's not, even though she's got a lot of Santa memories, not all of it is consistent. In the case of Duchess, where she remembers some of the story, but not a lot of it. So I'm wondering if some things from Santas are selective and the Santas can choose not to put that in their memory for the other Santas. I don't know yet. That's a really good question, isn't it? It's not an official one, but a really valid question. But this whole, I can do it myself, you know, she doesn't have investigation skills. She's 11. Can she work with someone? Yes, definitely. Should she? Absolutely. So to say I can do it myself, it feels kind of reminiscent of, you know, both Duchess, Joe, and Mr. Carnegie, because both of them kind of got obsessed and isolated themselves and didn't seek support, and kind of weren't really happy with their outcomes. So I'm concerned. I'm hoping that after all of this, that maybe Nico can reason with her. I don't know. She seems difficult to reason with, but Nico also still has grumpy old man vibes. He's not seeming like he's really cooperative, or terribly big fan of Juniper or children. So, got issues there. So, we've got Nico successfully saved-ish. Reindeer successfully saved-ish. The sack successfully saved-ish. I say ish because all of these things kind of are interconnected, because Nico's in the sack and no Claus is supposed to go in the sack. So what's going to happen there? We have limited magic abilities between Juniper and Scara, so I don't know what's happening there. And then Duchess is on the floor dying, possibly, and it's only day 17. So the question is, and I have to hurry up with this, so we've got the question of the day. Magic, it's clearly an issue. There's gold veins on Duchess, is she sicker because there's magic being, you know, around her with Juniper magic, and Nico's been hanging around a lot more? So, and then of course Skara. So is it because there's magic in the air and that's making her sicker? Or is it because of the fact that, you know, she's been aging and maybe it's, you know, gotten to that point where her body can't handle it anymore? And then the question part 2 of that is that, you know, again, she must have been totally human, and this is having what we call an adverse reaction. So she's responding in a bad way to magic being in her system, and it shouldn't be there because she's not a magical human. And then there's the, how did we get it out of her? How do we solve this problem? But again, this is it exposure, or is it because it's been in her for so long that it's, you know, the damage is already done? That's my question about the gold vein magic running through her body in her veins. Okay? Let me know what you think, and I will see you all tomorrow